How you doing, folks? This is a request video from the Sarge, and the topic is tattoos. The first thing is tattoos are just kind of stupid, and they're manipulative. Manipulative in the sense that they're energetically manipulative. Now, people have all these tattoos all over their body, all these tattoos on their arms, and they have all these different symbols, you know. So in linguistics, every syntactic structure, that's a sentence basically, has 3 levels to it, and that is the surface structure, the underlying structure, and the deep structure. And it corresponds to the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. So you see these tattoos and you'll listen to people talk about, you know, why they got them, or what it means, or, you know, whatever. You know, it's always, you know, this my mama, this God, this Jesus, or they get a knife or something, with a, you know, with a bitch with a. It's always like they get a bitch with a knife and shit, or, you know, or somebody shooting a gun on their chest, or, you know, or even some kind of other type of symbol for power, and it's normally for power, so it's satanic. You notice, like, for instance, when you watch the NBA championships over the last few years, and you notice that the Golden State Warriors, they wanted, I guess, 3 out of the last 5, right? And so they would have won again this year, but, you know, they had some people that got hurt that really mattered to them winning it. But overall, if you go back to 2016, you notice when the Golden State, they're all just normal dudes. They don't have any tattoos, okay? And if they do, they got a little one somewhere, you know what I mean? But in 2016, Golden State was going to beat Cleveland. And then about the 3rd or 4th game, you know, they had to step in and cheat. And they just let LeBron just run around and just beat the holy crap out of Steph Curry for the last 3 games of the series. And then they had to remember they got Draymond Green thrown out, you know, and all that symbolizes is the thugs beating the clean cut normal dudes. And then you have an emphasis kind of on the golden race, or, you know, the fact that those dudes are golden, you know, you know, Nazis, you know, they don't like the progeny of race mixing. You know, they hate it. They despise Barack Obama. You know what I mean? But you know, Barack wound up being pretty much best president in United States history. So this year in the NBA championships, if you notice, the thuggery had to win out. Now, Kawhi Leonard's a nice guy. I mean, I like him. You know what I mean? He's low key, he's normal. But he's got all his goddamn tattoos all over himself. So you know he's not too completely tightly wound up here. Because who in the fuck leaves the team that they just won the NBA championship with? Nobody. Okay? So that tells you right there. You know, and so he's got his plaits, he's got his tats, you know, and that just represents, although I don't consider him to be thuggish, it's the iconography, you know, it's the connection of him to Drake, to rap, to gangster rap, to the tats and the plaits and the tattoos, you know, thuggery, you know what I mean? We're gonna go out to LA, you know, the posse, you know, that kind of shit. So tattoos, linguistically, because tattoos are a language. They're expressive of language, of course. and they're hieroglyphic. So so the symbols mean more things than just, a straight sentence. To get that saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And one of the ways you read hieroglyphs is, like, say for instance, if you're reading a hieroglyph and you're at 10 feet to a hieroglyph that is 48 by 32, then it means something. But let's say you take an angle of 42.9 degrees to the side, and then you drop down 13 degrees and you step back 3 feet. It means something completely different. You see? So, and that's on and on and on and on and on. So it could be millions of meanings to a hieroglyph, you see. And in the Bible it says that saying goes, the word was made flesh. And of course the father of modern linguistics is Noam Chomsky, and he says that language is generative, meaning that the ability to acquire language acquisition, is already built into our genetics. So that means that tattoos are spellings. All language is spelling, of course, but tattoos are a special type of spelling because they can inundate the senses, because it means more than just one thing. Now, if the cognitive process of the person who is viewing the tattoo or the hieroglyph is not adept at the interpretations of what they're viewing, then by modern linguistic theory, once again, all language affects genetics. In other words, tattoos are a form of free advertising programming for the Illuminati. So, for instance, I don't know if you've ever seen that video, Magical Egypt, The Temple and Man, by John Anthony West. Of course, he died a couple of years ago, but Magical Egypt is a really, really popular series. And they show on this one portion of that video in the temple at Luxor, they show how there is a symbol on one side of a huge, gigantic stone block, and it's inside of a chamber. That side is inside of a chamber. And you have to go out of the temple all the way around to the other side. I mean, like, you got to walk far, all the way around to the other side to get to the outside, to get to the other side of this huge, gigantic stone block. And on the other side of that gigantic stone block is another symbol. And then they showed graphically, computer graphically, that if you take the symbol on the outside of the block and the symbol on the inside of the block, and you were to superimpose them onto each other, they actually fit completely perfectly to each other, and they make a completely different symbol. See? So the point is that there's these things called non-lethal energetic weapons, and those weapons are the types of weapons that you can focus on a person to alter their behavior. It's a lot of it's declassified CIA information now. You can read about it on the internet. And there's a man named Dr. John Hall that did a lots of exposés on this type of weaponry, and there's other people that have done. Marshall Thomas has done plenty of videos about it. Walter Boart wrote books about it. There's all different types of mind control specialists that know all about this stuff. So with these particular weapons, the tattoos have certain energetic properties. These weapons can envelop a person with with their own energetic properties. Now, if I have a symbol on my body that is a magic symbol, say it's sealed. Say it's a sealed circle, and it's got a panther's face in it or something, or the most common type of sealed talisman that you might be familiar with would be like a sealed pentagram. So it might be upright, or it may be, turned. It may be inverted, but it's sealed. So it's hermetic sealed. It's hermeticism. So it's a form of magic. And so now, if I know the frequency properties of this particular symbol that you have on your body, and let's say you've got 50 or 60 tattoos, or let's say you've got 10 tattoos with 50 or 60 different symbols. But let's say you got a tattoo on the front of your body, and you got a tattoo on the back of your body, and you don't realize that I can superimpose those two tattoos together and make something else, make something completely energetically different out of them. See? Now, if you notice, most of the people who are the best at shit, they don't got any tattoos. I mean, Jay-Z is the best fucking rapper ever in the history of the planet, and he has no tattoos. Now, the dead motherfuckers, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, the icons for quite negative path that that the young black males led to, comes from Tupac, and he's always saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm just articulating the position." Nobody can say that shit. You know what I mean? That motherfucker read every fucking greatest author on the planet's books, and he ain't never tell nobody about it. He ain't never tell them young black men about that shit until he went to jail. Then he's like, "Oh, read these books," from his interviews in jail. "Oh, I'm in jail. When you go to jail and read some books." See, that's the iconography. See what I'm saying? And you gotta remember, Tupac was the biggest like right there went right there before he went to jail. He was biggest when Reagan was president, if you remember. And Reagan was the biggest racist in the world, and Reagan was always involved in covert activity. And he started the war on drugs, the war on a young black male. And he was an incredible racist, and he hated black men. He hated black males. So you got, Thug Life, and then Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald's got 6 letters, Wilson's got 6 letters, and Reagan's got 6 letters. So 666. Ronald Reagan's the devil. See what I'm saying? And so right there, you got Tupac as the icon for the young black male while Reagan's the president. Use your brain, you see. And so I can take, with these weapons, I can take the energetic properties of the tattoos you have, and since we're energy, we are thermal energy. We are a thermal body on fire. How do we know that? Because we're at what? We're 98.6 degrees, right? So we're a walking energy field. We're literally vibrating energy at all times. So when you place these energy symbols on your body, you see what I'm saying? Where they're open, where they're sealed, they have certain properties. Now a lot of people, you notice, if you they have like swirling types of tattoos that are open. But if you pay real close attention, those could all be related to Santeria symbols, which is basically a high form of Satanism. But people don't put it together. You see what I'm saying? Because they want power, and they want power now, and they want it in the phenomenal world, and they want it now. So and that's fine, whatever. If the earth is the place that you would like to be and like to stay, then no problem, participate in the system of slavery. If the earth is a place that you would not like to be a prisoner of, then you'll have to do You have to do other things that would not ground you to this planet, especially when you die. Because if you're not quote unquote enlightened, enlightened means that you've taken in enough positive information in your life, and that you've acted in a positive way as best as you can, and that you're free of attachments to this planet. Like, you don't have fetishes. That's what the attachments really are. They're fetishes. You don't have fetishes that keep you attached to this place. And that's a whole nother topic we could write a 1,000-page book about, but essentially that's the case. And so to alleviate yourself of your fetishes is really the ultimate goal for anybody. Because once you do that, you can't really be possessed. See what I'm saying? You're free of possession. If you're free of possession, you're free of obsession. If you're free of obsession, then you're free of desires. See what I'm saying? And so, you know, can tattoos liberate people? I'm sure there's a case for anything, you know. But overall, they're pretty stupid. There's no real benefits to them. There's nothing that they're just temporal. I mean, they may be even symbols of a higher attention or whatever, of a higher level of consciousness or whatever. But overall, once you put them on your body, you live in a predatory environment. You live in a predatory world. And they're not going to repel. They're only going to attract the predatory energy, is the point. You know, I mean, some of them are actually pretty creative. You know, you see artists make original ones, you know. But even if you know it's Beyonce, I mean, even Beyonce had that tattoo on her hip or whatever.